It's Vernisa, and I'm here to speak up. It's time to speak up. Hello, everyone. My name is Vernisa, and this is my podcast, Speak Up. Hope you guys are all having a great month so far. It's the first. We're at the beginning of August. I don't know where this year has went. Please do not ask me, but I hope so far it's going smooth for you. Those of you that don't know, the mission statement for this podcast is we use our voices to motivate people to overcome life's challenges through self-love and respect. So shout out to all the new listeners out there. This podcast focuses on self-love and inner peace. I hope you enjoy the content. Before I get started, a quick shout out to my amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester Avenue in Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask for mine. Tell me that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at myy.bar. And also shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind for going to get your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com. The Instagram is at beactualnatural. And also check out Lakita's book. Link is in her bio. So welcome y'all to SpeakUpJV. I'm excited for tonight's episode. It's a fresh month. So I think, this is like a good topic to talk about. Tonight's episode is titled Say No to Crumbs. So how many of us have been receiving crumbs from ourselves or from other people? And, we've been settling for less than our worth, less than what we truly deserve. It's really big, and I think, the more and more that we do that, the more that we end up hurting ourselves. And, we start to feel unworthy of the things that are really meant for us. So I'm going to dive real deep into that, especially with August being like I feel like August is like a weird month for me because I feel like it's not the middle of the year, but it's not necessarily the end of the year. So it's like, I think it's about really checking yourself. Like, who are you allowing in your environment? Who are you allowing in your space? Who are you giving your time and attention to? Are you giving yourself crumbs when it comes to your goals? Like, are you going as hard as you can to make those things come true? Are your goals are your goals at a nice standard? I think we have to question that tonight as well. And also the people who we're giving our time and energy to. So it is now time for our accept segment. So tonight's accept is, are you satisfied with the standards that you have for yourself? So, I go back and read the comments. So if you're listening out there, please comment in the chat box and answer your questions. I would love to hear you guys' responses. So I'm going to go ahead and go first. I would say I'm satisfied with the standards that I have for myself now. Yeah, I could say I have definitely reached a level where I feel satisfied. Yeah, it could always be better. Yes, the more I get older, probably things are going to rise even more, but I feel like at this current moment, I can say I'm satisfied. Now, there was a time where I could say I wasn't, I think, I was settling for certain things, or just kind of like not feeling worthy or deserving, or like being okay with the bare minimum. And I think I'm at a time where I'm like, if something doesn't feel right, if someone's treating me less than, or if like there's a particular goal that I want, I'm like, why not shoot for the stars? I feel like I just hit that. I feel like I've always been that way goal-wise, but with relationships or people in my life, I feel like, my standards weren't super high as they should be. So I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I'm really having these standards and I'm owning it. And I think, another thing about having standards, are you practicing them every day? We can say all day, oh yeah, I have a standard for this, I have a standard for that, but are we holding ourselves accountable? Like, are we really living in that? I don't know if you've heard people say, oh, I would never do that. I never would have this, da-da-da. And then you look up, they do, or, they fall short. We're all human, of course. Sometimes we fall short, but like, are we taking that time to hold ourselves accountable to things that we require of ourselves, and I think standards are a big thing, they're healthy. I think, obviously there's unhealthy standards out there. Sometimes, we say things that are unattainable, but for the most part, I think it's healthy to have that roadmap. That's the importance of having a high standard. It gives you like, a milestone, something to reach, a direction to go. Because when we don't have standards, what direction are you really going to go? You're going to go south. You might go left, you might go right, but you're not going to go up. And I think standards keep you at that strive for like, I deserve the best for myself. And I want to say this too, this goes with the title. People will give you crumbs if you allow them to. So this goes with friendships, dating, family members, just stuff at work, people will test you. I've learned that, especially if you're like a really nice person, you get along with everybody, you're very giving. Sometimes people will take the time to see what they can get away with, or, what transaction they can do where it's cheaper for them, but they still get the most benefit. And I think that's something big to watch out for, and you got to tell yourself, it's just like if you're about to eat something, when you go order you some food, you're not going to order less than what you need for your appetite. You're gonna order a bunch of crumbs and be like, okay, you're gonna order something that's going to satisfy your hunger. So it's the same thing with life. Why do we accept crumbs from people? And I feel like a lot of that is us having to dig deep within and make us realize what is allowing us to accept those crumbs. Is it because we want that person in our life so bad that we'll accept anything to make sure that they're there? And I think, let's be real. A lot of people will be out the door if we were giving them crumbs. I feel like a lot of toxic people or unhealthy people who aren't for you, they're around because they're getting a full plate dealing with you. It's a benefit to be around you, to have access to your energy. So why aren't we requesting that in return? So, that's just something to self-reflect on. And I've been learning too the importance of addressing things in the moment. I used to what's the word to use? I take a lot of time to process things. So I used to be like kind of passive with things. Oh, it's okay. Oh, da-da-da. And later I would be hurt because something would hurt me. I was giving crumbs and really knowing that's not what I wanted, what I deserved. I would accept it in that moment and later be like, damn, why did I accept these crumbs? And I've been learning the importance of speaking up for myself in that moment, because that's how people test you and think, okay, I can get away with that. Don't stay where you're not appreciated. Appreciation goes both ways. And I say this again, a lot of people who do you foul and stuff, they are staying around because they're getting good treatment. So they know their worth, when they're manipulating you, using you for something. So we'll take time to remember what we're worth and know if something's not sitting right for us. As much as it hurts too, it's easier said than done. But I've been learning to take the title off of people. Like, this is my blah. Oh, they wouldn't do this. I know this person for this long. That doesn't mean anything. Is it an effective relationship? Is it serving you? Are y'all pouring into each other? Is it one-sided? Really ask yourself that. Is it one-sided? Like, if you were to stop giving your energy and effort into a situation, stop giving that full platter, would you still would you still get fed? You have to ask yourself that question when it comes to certain situations. This goes with a job. You might work at a job where your needs aren't being met. Okay. It's really about what you feel like you can get, what you can obtain, and how you can get it. I want to say this too, keeping high standards. We see posts all the time where people seem conceited or they get knocked down for wanting more for themselves. And I just feel like that's a lot of insecure people saying that, to make you feel lower. I've actually been told by close people, sometimes I'll talk about a certain standard that I have for myself that's high, and that person may not have a high standard for themselves, but they'll look at, I've had remarks made to me, as if I'm asking for too much. And, at the time I didn't understand it, but I look back, I'm like, this is because this person doesn't have those standards for themselves. So it's like, how could you have those standards for yourself? Sometimes people will criticize what they don't understand. And, your confidence sometimes will scare other people. You can think highly of yourself, want the best for yourself. But if someone doesn't see themselves in that light, they're in a dark place, they're going to try to turn that light down too, so they can feel comfortable even being around you. So I think it's important that if you have high standards for yourself, keep those high standards. Even if somebody tries to go away and make it seem like you don't deserve that, especially when you're doing the work and you deserve to have the best for you. And I want to say this too, don't give yourself crumbs. How many times have we fell short for showing up for our own selves? Show up for yourself every day. Pump yourself up, feed yourself every day. Give yourself the deserving 24 hours that you deserve in each day. I've been learning to listen to myself more. There were times I would give people a full platter and give myself crumbs, and I would be feeling empty after that. Meanwhile, people who didn't even deserve all my time and energy were fully fed. And I've been learning the importance of, making sure I'm fed and I'm good. I'm not giving myself crumbs. And then that's that way too. I have more energy and time and love to give to others, to people who deserve it. This isn't you being selfish because you're choosing yourself. You're choosing to get a little bit more rest. You're choosing to eat a better meal, take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your mind, to want better goals for yourself. Shoot, sometimes too, not giving yourself crumbs looks like knocking out all that, wasted time and staying focused, not giving energy to those things that no longer serve you, making that sacrifice. So that's another thing. Don't fold on yourself, don't fumble on yourself. You have you at the end of the day. And the more I've been building the relationship with myself, I'm like, yeah, the more I've been feeding myself, giving myself that full platter, I feel better, I feel more energized, I glow more. So you deserve that as well. And let's talk about goals for a little bit. Keep your standards high when it comes to your goals. I think we should always be hitting more and more goals. I feel like there's no final goal in this life. You reach a goal, what do? Make another one. Somebody real wise in my life has said that. The real successful people keep multiple goals. They have another goal after another goal. Because guess what? If you accomplish all of your goals and you just kind of stop, you become just air. You become just floating through life. You stop living in a purpose. So why not? Okay, this is one goal I want. I'm going to go even higher. I'm going to go even higher, and I'm going to go even higher. It's something beautiful about that when you keep those high standards when it comes to your goal. Because, you don't want to live a life of regret. You don't want to look back. And I want to say this to you guys. It's never too late. We may be, I know a lot of my age group, we hitting our 30, we hitting the 30 club and things like that. And maybe we're reflecting on things we could have done in our 20s, things we could have done in our teen years, whatever. However, if you woke up this morning, you still have another opportunity. So, have those standards when it comes to especially with it being in August. It's still not too late to finish this year off strong. High standards, they give you more of an effective roadmap. I feel like when we have no direction, that's how we end up in stuff that we shouldn't even be in. I got Nipsey's quote tatted on me: on a mission, your worst enemy is idle time. And, part of staying away from that idle time is keeping those high challenging goals to keep you on the right direction, to do more and more for yourself. Because even if you fall, like they say, if you aim at the stars, you'll end up in a cloud. You still end up somewhere. So it is time for my tweet up segment. So you guys know that I love to be on Twitter. So something that I tweeted this week that goes with tonight's episode is: view your standards as protection from what's not good for you. This sits with me very heavy. So let's debunk this a little bit. As I've been growing as a woman, my standards have went up, especially with dating and just a lot of, even like friends, people I'm allowing even access, even people to breathe the same air as me. And, there was a time, like I said, I was just so nice to everybody. I would talk to everybody, have everybody in my circle, want to hang out with everyone, give everybody my time and energy. And I wasn't protected because I was allowing so many people in my space, and all this stuff would happen. Like, I feel like, I would tell everybody my business, this and that. Certain goals were going correctly, I was just in chaos and stuff. And then the more as I've been lifting my standards with, my goals, people that around me, people that I date, this and that, I feel like I just have been more protected. And I think, sometimes it gets boring having your standards high. Yeah, you're not going to click with every single person. You're not going to have things in common with every single person. You might have to turn down certain hangouts, this and that. But then the day, like, that protection is there. Anytime I have a moment, I'm like, dang, should I have done this, been around this, I'm like, I'm protected. It's being blocked from something. And I'm really big on energy and things happening for a reason and things not happening for a reason. And the more you have these high standards for yourself, the more protected you really are. I feel like you'll be in alignment with what is for you. And what ain't for you isn't going to align with you. It's not going to be fitting your parameter. I remember one of my old jobs, we had a meditation instructor, and she said you either align or contrast with a person's energy. So think of your standards. When you have your standards a certain way, you are vibrating at a certain frequency. You're carrying yourself a certain way. So yeah, of course, if something is hitting below that, it's not going to align. And I think sometimes when we lower our standards, we're forcing those things that aren't in alignment with us into our world. And when we do that, that's when that chaos is created, because we're actually acting out of what we truly want, what we truly deserve. And we're human. We're going to have moments where we fall short of ourselves and we allow things in our life that shouldn't even have been there. However, I think just keeping this with you and seeing standards as protection is going to help you in the long run. And I want to say this too: filtering things through your standards keeps you from entertaining the wrong people / things. So, if you do meet a new person, you're dating someone, take it slow. Take it slow and filter it through those things. You meet a new friend, filter it through those standards. Is this person meeting this, and this? What I'm currently looking for. Can I match that standard I'm asking for? And I think that when we filter things out, you really do remove yourself from the BS. If it's for you, it's going to fit along with your healthy standards. If it's not for you, it's going to allow you to act in an unhealthy way to keep it in your life. So I think that's something else I give myself reassurance, like, especially when, let's say I don't talk to a certain friend anymore, like, me and a person fall out, whatever. I'm like, it just wasn't for me. And that's okay. I'm being protected, or, it's just, that was a season. That was when that chapter ended, and that's okay. Worthiness and standards go hand in hand. So you do have to believe you're worthy of the certain standard that you have. Because you can have a standard up here, but if you don't feel worthy of it, even if you got something that was up here, you're going to push it away. You're going to self-sabotage it because you don't even feel deserving of it in the first place. How many of us said, of course, we want, let's say, you want this super amazing, relationship, this and that, this big old house. But if you're still like in a poverty mindset, you can get that big house tomorrow and still be miserable living in it. Not miserable as in like you're not happy you're there, but still in that shock mode. Like, do I even deserve this? Or like if you're used to a certain type of relationship and you finally get that healthy love, you know what I mean? It's going to be things that are still going to come out because there's a part of you that's like, okay, why is this person with me? So it's like we have to work on it. As our standards go up, we have to work on the worthiness that goes with it. Our self-image merges into our reality. So it's like how you see yourself, that's how you're going to operate with other people. So, if a person really doesn't like themselves, that's why they're mean and snobby to other people. They're finding the wrongs in others, the flaws in others, trying to humiliate people. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but, isolate people out, count people out. Because in the day, they don't see their self-image right? And, when you are confident in yourself, you have a good self-image, you're going to want that around you as well. It's going to be easy for you to pick up when somebody is like trying to like dim your light or knock that down. So let's talk about standards and dating. This is a big one, me currently, as well too. Like the more I've changed my standards with that, I've seen a shift, even with how people treat me. And this is like in a better way, how I carry myself, things like that, the respect that comes with it. And I think, people can sense when your standards are higher, when your standards are low. And, you just have to carry yourself in whatever that is. And I think with dating, like, don't settle, yes, nobody's going to be perfect. No one's going to completely be that full box. But I feel like if someone is filtering through those certain morals that you have, that thing, okay, go for it. But if it's something that really just isn't for you, I think sometimes we're like, okay, and we just lower our standard. And then later we kind of get big. And I've learned the importance of like, it's okay to, like, you'll meet, there's people out there that have the same type of standards that you have. So I think that's a part of it too. Like I've been learning the importance of taking your time to get to know somebody. Let's be real, we live in a social media world. Everything's sugar-coated. People appear to be what they're not, and it's really about like going past that image, what you see on social media, how they act on the first or second hangout, like past that, to really see if a person fits in certain standards. And don't let love blind you from loving yourself. And I think that goes with standards too, with us lowering our standards. Sometimes we become infatuated with a person, or it's just lust, honestly. Or it could be love, but it could be an unhealthy type of attachment that's causing us to think we love them or feel like we love them, whatever that is, to blind us of what our standard or goal is. And, I think we have to be very cautious of that, especially if like, you are a person who falls in love easy, gets attached to people. It's like about checking yourself and having that accountability too, to make sure it doesn't happen, or to make sure it's, it's intact. I'll say that. People can sense when we don't value ourselves. And you got people who will sense it and be like, okay, but you got people who will sense it and play on it, and use that as a manipulative situation, as a way to benefit them. So, be cautious about that as well, and know when to walk away. Something isn't serving you, it doesn't feel right, it's okay to walk away. It's okay. So it is now time for the Life Up segment. So tonight's Life Up segment's a little different, but I'm going to say tonight's Life Up. So that's the Life Up segment is when I take the current topic and I relate it to today's world. So tonight's Life Up segment is people taking the everyday blessings for granted. I threw this in there because I think this just needed to be talked about. I scroll on social media a lot, and there's so much to complain about, right? And it's like, those basic things. Are we taking the time out? It's just a reminder. Are we taking the time out to be grateful for it? It's the simple things: having a meal, having a roof over your head, air to breathe, waking up this morning. Ask yourself: are you currently taking someone or something for granted? Even certain family members. And I've been guilty of this as well. I've been guilty of so focused on certain negative things going on in my life that there's so much positive that I'm taking it for granted. Or I'm focused on because someone didn't show up. Meanwhile, I'm not giving attention to who did show up, who is showing support. So this is just a friendly reminder for the Life Up. Sometimes when what we take for granted gets snatched from us. So, it's just a good reminder. Because even when you get something that fits in your standard, take the time to appreciate it and to be grateful for it. How do we fix this? Show gratitude. And I love to say what I'm grateful for when I wake up. That's one thing I have. I do it in the shower. Or if my day is becoming challenging, I'll start going into things that I'm grateful for. And it automatically makes me feel better because things could always be a lot worse. And tell people that you appreciate them and show them appreciation. I think that's a big one. I think sometimes because someone's our family member or our friend for a while, we feel entitled. But that's what they're supposed to do. That's my uncle. That's what they're supposed to do. That's my sister. And it's give people their love language too, and I don't know, it's just better that way. So that was the Life Up for tonight. I just wanted to throw that in there as a friendly reminder. It didn't really go with the episode, but it was just something that I wanted to throw in there for August. So now it is time for the Drink Up segment. So if you're listening out there, please pull out some water, and I have a water fact for tonight. Ooh, that was a nice sip of water. It is so hot, you guys. Please stay hydrated out there. So tonight's Drink Up is: drinking water helps to thin the mucus lining in your airways and lungs. Dehydration can cause the mucus to thicken and get sticky, which slows down overall respiration and makes you more susceptible to illness, allergies, and other respiratory problems. So drink your water so you can breathe in this heat. Water is just good for you all around. So this is a reminder to drink some water. So please pull out some water, drink some water. Now back to the episode. So, wanting more for yourself is a decision you have to make for yourself. So how many of y'all, we've had a family member or a friend or a loved one, a close person, and we saw them kind of settling for something less than their standard, something that they said they would never settle for, or this and that. There's nothing wrong with reminding them of that, or making a person feel good, reminding them what they're worth. But I've learned too is, it is a decision they have to make at the end of the day. So the same for you, if you want more for yourself, that's a decision you have to do in your brain. Someone could tell me all day I deserve to work, have this business, do this, do that, be with this type of guy, whatever. But in the day, I have to believe that. I have to want that for myself. So it's the same for people that we love. We can tell them, but in the day, we all have our own paths. We all think the way that we think, and there's a reason that people, make certain decisions that they make. So I'm just learning that, goes back to my episode, they're grown. You're grown, they're grown. You have to actively make that decision. So I feel like if you're in a moment place right now and you're I want more for myself, but I don't know what to do, really sit with yourself, write it out. What exactly do you want? How do you want to feel? What would make you feel that way? What steps do you need to take to get those things that'll have you feeling that way? I think it's nothing wrong with self-reflecting and writing things out. And really trying to get to the root of who you are and what you really want for your life to be in a certain space. Because what you have to want to do it. Nobody can make you pick certain things. So I have to throw that in there. So it is now time for the Poet Up segment. So you guys know this is one of my newest segments on SpeakUpJV. I love to write poetry. So I'm going to be sharing a quote or two from one of my poems. So this poem is titled Strength. So here's 2 lines from that. And here we go. This life will teach you lessons. It will sometimes send you blessings. But stop dealing with people who treat you less than your worth, less than your price. Fuck with those people that are going to treat you right. It seems like life can be a maze, but continue to amaze others. So I had to throw in this one because it obviously goes with tonight's topic. But stop dealing with people that treat you less than. We all have a purpose, and focus on that. Focus on what it takes to amaze other people and to inspire others. The right people will see your light and will want to see it shine. Will add actually to the shine. The wrong people will try to dim that. And I've been learning every day to kind of sip away from that. Even people that you wouldn't even think would be like that. And it all comes with keeping your standards high. Manifest a genuine group of people who want to see you win, who want to see you grow, who are potential business partners. I just think life is so much better when you have that supportive, loving, and genuine energy around you. So that was the Poet Up segment for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to send me some poem lines if you want to feature it in my Poet Up segment. Now back to the episode. Self-reflection helps us realize what we truly want. So I kind of touched up on that already, but that self-reflection is huge because sometimes we're putting ourselves through things that we actually have the power to get out of. We don't have control of everything, but sometimes, we can blame someone all day or be mad at a job or a situation or certain goals that ain't working for us. Or we can sit there and reflect and do something about it and figure out, okay, how can I use a solution-based mindset and work through this and make the necessary changes so I'm not feeling like this anymore. So I'm living in those standards. How can I make my standards higher, actually? The kind of food, even goes with the kind of food you put into your body. Like I remember, I've been making a lot of changes on my diet. Certain foods I eat. I used to be in years ago, I used to be in every drive-through. That was my go-to. I don't even do that anymore. Go to certain drive-thrus anymore. I definitely have changed. I've cooked more. Watch certain ingredients. And it's but that was a conscious decision. It took a lot of self-reflection. Okay, enough is enough. So it's sometimes we have to, and I think as we age, we get older, we want more. That self-reflection is essential. So allow yourself to self-reflect and figure out what do you really want yourself and how can you raise your standards a little more if you feel like they're not high enough. So it is now time for the Show Up segment. This is also one of my newest segments. So the Show Up segment is, how did I show up for myself this week? So if you're listening out there, please comment. How did you show up for yourself this week? I'm going to go first. I went and got a massage this past weekend. And I said that because I've been saying, well, I need a massage. You need to get a massage because I've been running a lot, doing different things, but actually allow myself to book the appointment, go get it done. And I feel amazing. And, my body needed that, and it's literally was some much needed self-care. I know we see certain things as luxuries and this and that. But at the end of the day, you have to give yourself a little bit of that every now and then, That was where I showed up for myself, allow myself to rest too. And then after my massage, I relaxed the rest of the day. Usually I would have still been out and about in the streets doing something, feeling like I got to stay busy or out and about. But I binge watched one of my shows and I felt great about it because end of the day, I deserve rest. I'm worthy of rest and, being pampered, changing that narrative of I don't always have to be on go mode, always have to be working super hard or this and that, that's all trauma response, really, if you think about it, or extra pressure I'm just putting on myself. So that's how I shut up for myself this week. So please comment. I would love to read the comments and see what you guys have done. And I want to say this too, remind your loved ones of their worth. So like I said earlier, people may not listen to you, but at least you did your part. Sometimes people need to be reminded. There's been times I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, or dealing with a person I shouldn't have been doing. And friends have told me things and, or told me to step my game up, turn my grind up, Hey, sometimes it's uncomfortable to hear, but it definitely was something, or a bell rang in my ear. And I want to say that you never know who needs your words. And if You can't make somebody do something, but at least you know you did your part. So I want to throw that in there. And it's now time for the wrap-up segment. So the wrap-up segment, how does this relate to self-love? Self-love is loving yourself enough to give yourself the best, to want the best for yourself. When you love something, you're going to treat it right. You're going to give it the finest things. You're going to, give it the best care. Okay, do that with yourself. Why would you give yourself garbage? Why would you feed yourself crumbs when you know that's not going to fill your appetite? So that's how this relates to self-love. That is self-love. Having those nice standards, protecting yourself, allowing your standards to protect yourself, self-reflecting to figure out what your standards should be, or should you raise them a little higher? You know what I mean? So that's just something I want to throw in. And if someone tells you your standards are too high, that's because they can't meet them, or they don't have those type of standards for themselves. So they're looking at you crazy. So don't get discouraged when somebody's insecure and they're trying to knock down the confidence that you have or the worthiness that you feel for yourself. So that's just a reminder out there. I want to say this too, let your standards grow you. So, even if you just raise a certain standard in your life and you feel like you're not really living up to it, allow it to do its job. Okay, eventually you're going to want this type of lifestyle or this in your life. Okay, do the work that it will take for you to feel deserving or worthy of it. We're all worthy of it, but hold yourself accountable is what I'm trying to say. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. And I hope this is a good way to start the month for you. It's still the first week of August. It's a lot of adjustments like we can. I know a lot of us do a lot of monthly goal setting. So hey, why not go into August with your standards just a little bit higher? That ain't gonna hurt nobody. But I appreciate you guys tapping into my 21st episode of the newest segment, SpeakUpJV Now. You can catch me on Instagram at SpeakUpJV, on Twitter at SpeakUpJV. These episodes also come out on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Please tell your friends about SpeakUpJV. But before I go, a quick shout out to my amazing sponsors. Shout out to My Bar, located at 720 East Manchester, Inglewood, California. Get your nails, your lashes, your hair done. Ask your mind. Tell them that SpeakUpJV sent you. The Instagram is at nyy.bar. And also shout out to Be Actual Natural. Why settle for less? All their products are created with you in mind for going to let your self-love show through your self-care. The chemical-free hair and skincare products are handmade, plant-based, and full of fillers or preservatives. Free of fillers or preservatives. Treat yourself while taking care of yourself. Start your journey at www.beactualnatural.com. The Instagram is at beactualnatural. I love you guys. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. And I will be back with another episode. Take care.